Mr. Martinez, can you help us? Billy is missing. David Martinez stood at the front door, mailbag over his shoulder, looking at Mrs. Peterson. Her face was red from crying. Her hands trembled. Missing? What do you mean? He went hiking with his scout troop yesterday morning, in the Cascade Mountains. They got separated. The search party has been looking for 18 hours. They can't find him. David's heart sank. Billy Peterson, 8 years old, always waited for David on the porch every afternoon. Hi, Mr. Martinez. Any mail today? Sweet kid. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Peterson. I hope they find him soon. Please, she grabbed David's arm. You walk these mountains every day. You know the trails. Can you help look? David hesitated. I'm just a mailman, Mrs. Peterson. The search and rescue team. They're professionals. I wouldn't know. Please, she was desperate. He's been out there almost 20 hours. It's going to freeze tonight. If they don't find him. David looked into her eyes. A mother's fear. Pure. Raw. And David remembered another mother, his ex-wife Sarah, looking at him with the same desperation 13 years ago. Choose, David. Your daughter or your obsession. David had chosen his daughter Emma, quit his career, became a mailman in this small Oregon town. But today, a mother needed help, and David Martinez still remembered how to run. Okay, David said quietly. I'll help. Mrs. Peterson didn't know that 15 years ago, David Martinez wasn't a mailman. He was an Olympic gold medalist. Marathon, 2016 Rio, and before that, he'd run over 50 ultramarathons, 50 miles, 100 miles, through deserts, through mountains, through wilderness, exactly like the Cascades. Where was Billy last seen? David Martinez was born to run, literally. His father was a mailman in East LA. His mother cleaned houses, poor, immigrant family from Mexico. David was the youngest of 4 kids, skinny, quiet, bullied at school. But when David ran, everything changed. At age 12, he joined the middle school cross-country team. His coach, Mr. Henderson, noticed immediately. Martinez, you're fast, but more importantly, you don't quit. What do you mean? Most kids, when they get tired, they slow down. You speed up, like pain makes you stronger. David didn't know how to explain it, but running felt like freedom, like flying, like he could escape everything, the poverty, the bullying, the struggle, so he ran more. High school, state champion, 3 years in a row, college, UCLA, full scholarship, NCAA champion. At 22, David qualified for the Olympics, marathon, 2012 London. He came in 7th place, respectable, but not what he wanted. I'll be back, David told his coach, and next time, I'll win. 4 years of brutal training, 100 miles a week, altitude training, extreme conditions. David didn't just run marathons, he ran ultramarathons, races longer than 26.2 miles, 50-mile races, 100-mile races, multi-day races. He ran through Death Valley in 120-degree heat. He ran through the Rockies in snow. He ran through the Appalachian Trail for 7 days straight. His specialty, endurance. The longer the race, the better David performed. Most runners break down after 20 miles, his coach said. David, he's just getting started. By 2016, David Martinez was 30 years old. Peak performance. Rio Olympics, marathon. David won gold, 2 hours, 8 minutes, 37 seconds. Standing on that podium, hearing the national anthem, David cried. He'd done it, but there was someone missing from the crowd, Sarah, his wife, and Emma, his daughter. David met Sarah in college. She was a nursing student. He was training for nationals. They met at a campus health fair. Sarah was taking blood pressure readings. David came by after a 20-mile training run. Wow, Sarah said, looking at the monitor. Your resting heart rate is 42. That's incredible. Is that bad? No, that's athlete level. What do you do? I run. Sarah smiled. I can tell. They started dating. Sarah would bike alongside David on his long training runs, carrying water bottles. You know you're crazy, right? She'd say. Who runs 100 miles for fun? It's not fun. David would laugh. It's life. They married when David was 25. 2 years later, Emma was born. David was thrilled. A daughter. He'd teach her to run. They'd run together. But being an elite marathoner meant constant travel, races around the world, training camps, altitude training in Colorado, heat training in Arizona. David was gone 200 days a year. Sarah raised Emma alone. David, you're missing everything, Sarah said when Emma was 3. Her first words, her first steps, her first day of preschool. I know, I'm sorry, just until Rio, after the Olympics, I'll slow down. I promise, but David didn't slow down. After Rio Gold, sponsors flooded in. Nike, Gatorade, endorsement deals worth millions. David, you're set for life, his agent said. You can retire now, but David couldn't stop. He was addicted to running, to the high, to pushing limits. Sarah filed for divorce when Emma was 7. I can't do this anymore, David. Emma needs a father, not a ghost who visits twice a month. Sarah, please, I'll cut back. You've been saying that for 7 years. Emma asked me yesterday, why doesn't Daddy live with us? And you know what I said? Because Daddy loves running more than us. David's world shattered. That's not true. Then prove it, Sarah said. Quit, be a father, or keep running and lose us forever. David stood at a crossroads. His career was at its peak. More races, more records, maybe another Olympics, or his daughter. David chose Emma. He retired, age 31, Olympic gold medalist. At the height of his career, the running world was shocked. Martinez retires unexpectedly, read the headlines. But David didn't care. He moved to Ridgemont, Oregon, small town, population 4,000, near where Sarah's parents lived. Joint custody. Emma stayed with Sarah during the week. David on weekends. David needed a job, something stable, close to Emma. He saw a job posting, mail carrier, USPS. It was perfect. Walk 10 miles a day delivering mail. Stable hours, home every night. David applied, got hired, and for 13 years, David Martinez delivered mail. Nobody in Ridgemont knew he was an Olympic champion. He never mentioned it, kept his gold medal hidden in a drawer. He was just David, the friendly mailman. Emma was his world. Every weekend, they'd hike together, camp. He taught her to appreciate nature without pushing her to run. Don't you miss it, Dad? Emma asked once. She was 12. Miss what? Running, being famous. David thought about it. Sometimes, but I have you. That's better than any medal. Emma hugged him. You're the best, Dad. David smiled. Because Sarah was right. This being present, being dad, was more important than any race. But sometimes, late at night, David would lace up his old running shoes, and he'd run, alone, through the Cascade Mountain trails, not fast, not racing, just running, because it was part of him. And on those runs, David would remember endurance, navigation, survival skills. Ultramarathons taught him more than speed. They taught him how to survive in wilderness, how to navigate by stars, how to find water, how to push through impossible pain, skills he thought he'd never need again, until today. Billy Peterson disappeared on Saturday morning. Scout Troop 47 went on a day hike in the Cascade Mountains. 10 boys, ages 8 to 12, 2 adult leaders. They took the Clearwater Trail, popular route, well marked, supposed to be safe. But at mile marker 7, Billy said he needed to use the bathroom, stepped off the trail into the trees. Stay within sight, the troop leader called. Okay. 5 minutes later, they called for him. No answer. 10 minutes. Still nothing. They searched the immediate area, called his name, blew whistles. Billy was gone. The troop leader called 911. Search and rescue was dispatched. That was Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Now it was Sunday, 6 p.m. Over 30 hours. The search team had 50 volunteers, dogs, helicopters. They'd covered a 5-mile radius. Nothing. Sheriff Tom Bradley led the search. The problem is, the forest is dense. If Billy kept walking in the wrong direction, he could be 10-15 miles away by now. Mrs. Peterson was frantic. Her husband was with the search team. She'd been home, waiting, praying. That's when she saw David delivering mail. Please, Mr. Martinez, help us. David drove to the search headquarters, a tent set up at the Clearwater trailhead. Sheriff Tom recognized him. David, you here to help? Yeah. What do you need? Tom showed him the map. Billy was last seen here mile marker 7. We've searched this 5-mile radius. Nothing. Either he's hiding scared, maybe, or he wandered farther than we thought. What's the terrain like beyond this radius? Rough, dense forest, steep ravines, a river, and it drops below freezing at night. David studied the map. His ultra-marathon experience kicked in. Billy's 8 years old, scared, lost. What's his instinct? Tom thought. Try to find his way back, maybe, or find water. Kids know, find water, find people. David pointed to the map. This river, does it flow toward town? Yeah, eventually, but it's 20 miles of rough terrain. If Billy followed the river, thinking it leads to people, he could be downstream. Tom frowned. That's outside our search radius. We don't have manpower to cover that. I can go, David said. David, that's 20 miles of wilderness, alone, at night. You're a mailman. Tom, David looked at him. I can handle it. Tom hesitated. Then okay, but take a radio. Check in every hour. David nodded. He grabbed a backpack, supplies, flashlight, first aid kit, water, energy bars, and then he did something he hadn't done in 13 years. He laced up his running shoes, not the mail carrier shoes, his old ultra-marathon trail runners, still in his garage, dusty, but ready. Emma showed up at the trailhead. Dad, what are you doing? David turned. Emma was 20 now, home from college for the weekend. Billy Peterson is missing. I'm going to look for him. Alone. Dad, that's crazy. It's almost dark. I know the terrain, Emma. I've run these trails. Emma stared at him. Run. Dad, you don't. She paused. Wait, you still run? David smiled. Sometimes. At night, when you're asleep. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you to think I chose running over you. But Emma, he put his hands on her shoulders. I chose you. Always. But running is part of me. And tonight, maybe it can save Billy. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Be careful, Dad. Always. David turned to the trail, took a deep breath, and started running. David ran. Not fast, not racing, just steady, sustainable pace. 6 p.m., sunset in 2 hours. He followed the trail to mile marker 7, where Billy disappeared. David stopped, looked around. Dense trees, easy to get disoriented. Billy, he called. Billy, nothing. David studied the ground. Footprints, small, child-sized, leading off-trail toward the sound of running water, the river. David followed. After a mile, the footprints disappeared. Ground too hard, but David kept going, following the river. Downstream, he ran through the forest, over roots, around boulders, his ultra-marathon training returning. Muscle memory. 8 p.m. Darkness fell. David turned on his flashlight, kept running. The temperature dropped, 45 degrees, heading toward freezing. David thought about Billy, 8 years old, no jacket, no supplies, cold, scared. Hang on, Billy, I'm coming. 10 p.m. David had run 15 miles. His legs were fine, his lungs were fine. This was nothing compared to 100-mile races, but the terrain was brutal, steep, rocky, dangerous in the dark. David slipped on wet rocks, fell, scraped his hands, got up, kept running. Radio check. Tom, this is David. I'm at mile 15. No sign yet. Copy, David. Be safe. Temperatures dropping to 32 degrees. David kept going. Midnight. Mile 20. David's flashlight caught something. A small piece of fabric. Snagged on a branch. Blue. Billy's scout uniform was blue. Billy, David shouted. Silence. But David knew. Billy had been here. He kept running. 2 a.m. Mile 25. David heard something. Faint. A cry. He stopped. Listened. There. Again. A child's voice. Weak. Help. David ran toward the sound. Faster now. He found Billy at the base of a ravine. He'd fallen. Maybe 20 feet. Lying on his side. Shivering. David climbed down. Careful. Rocks loose. Billy. It's Mr. Martinez. The mailman. I've got you. Billy looked up. His face was pale. Lips blue. Hypothermia. I'm cold. David took off his jacket. Wrapped Billy in it. Rubbed his arms to create warmth. I know, buddy. But you're going to be okay. I promise. He checked Billy for injuries. Sprained ankle. Couldn't walk. David radioed Tom. I found him. Mile 25. Downstream. He's alive but hypothermic. Sprained ankle. I'm carrying him out. Copy. We're sending a helicopter to your location. Negative. Too many trees here. I'll carry him to the clearing at mile 15. Meet me there. David, that's 10 miles. Carrying a child. Can you? Yes. David lifted Billy onto his back, piggyback style. The boy weighed maybe 60 pounds. In ultramarathons, David had carried 30-pound packs for 100 miles. This was different. This was a child, a life. David started running, not fast. Can't afford to fall, but steady, relentless, mile by mile. Billy was barely conscious, mumbling. Mom, cold. Stay with me, Billy. Talk to me. What's your favorite superhero? Spider-Man. Good choice. Why Spider-Man? He helps people. That's right. And you know what? Today, I'm Spider-Man, and I'm getting you home. Billy managed a small smile. Mile 20. David's legs were burning, but he didn't slow. He thought about Rio, the marathon, the last 6 miles, his body screaming to stop. But he didn't stop then. He wouldn't stop now. Mile 15, 4 a.m. David saw lights, the search team. Helicopter landing in the clearing. Here, David shouted. We're here. Paramedics rushed over, took Billy, wrapped him in thermal blankets, checked vitals. He's stable. Hypothermia, but we got him in time. You saved his life. David collapsed to his knees, exhausted, but Billy was safe. Sheriff Tom helped David up. You ran 25 miles in, carried him 10 miles out, in the dark. David, how did you? David was too tired to lie. I used to run ultramarathons before I was a mailman. Tom stared. Ultramarathons? Like 100 miles? Yeah. Jesus, David, why didn't you ever say anything? David looked at the helicopter loading Billy. Because it didn't matter. Until tonight. News spread fast in Ridgemont. Mailman saves missing boy after 30-hour search. But the local newspaper dug deeper. A reporter recognized David's name. David Martinez. Wait, Olympic David Martinez. The story broke. Olympic gold medalist has been delivering mail in Oregon for 13 years. Suddenly, Everyone knew. David's mailbox flooded with messages, interview requests, sponsorship offers. David, Nike wants you back. ESPN wants to do a feature. But David ignored them all. He showed up for work, delivered mail, same as always. One afternoon, David was delivering mail to Emma's apartment. She'd moved back to Ridgemont after graduating. Dad, can we talk? They sat on her porch. Dad, why did you hide it? The Olympics, the gold medal. Why didn't you tell anyone? David sighed. Because I didn't want to be Olympic David anymore. I wanted to be Emma's dad. But Dad, you can be both. Maybe. But when you were young, I chose wrong. I chose running over you. And I hurt you and your mom. So when I moved here, I wanted to leave that behind. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Dad, I never felt like you chose running over me. You retired for me. You gave up everything. Not everything, David said. I got you. Emma hugged him. I'm proud of you, Dad. Not because you won gold, but because you saved Billy. And because you've been the best dad. David smiled. Thanks, sweetheart. And Dad? Yeah? Maybe it's time to stop hiding. You can be both. Olympic David and Emma's dad. Billy Peterson made a full recovery. Hypothermia. Sprained ankle. But alive. His parents threw a town event. Thank you, David Martinez. David showed up, reluctant. But Emma convinced him. Billy ran up and hugged him. Mr. Martinez, you saved me. You're a tough kid, Billy. You survived out there, because I knew someone would come. And you came. Mrs. Peterson hugged David, crying. Thank you. You brought my baby home. David felt something he hadn't felt in years. Purpose. Not from winning races. From helping people. The town mayor spoke. David Martinez, you are a hero. Not because you won Olympic gold, though that's impressive, but because when a child needed help, you ran, for 30 hours, without hesitation. The crowd applauded. David stood, uncomfortable with attention. I'm not a hero. I did what anyone would do. No, Sheriff Tom stood up. Most people couldn't do what you did. You have a gift, and tonight you used it to save a life. David looked at the crowd, at Billy, at Emma, and he realized, running wasn't his past. It was part of him. Always would be. But now, it had a new purpose. After the event, a man approached David. Older, 60s, familiar face. David Martinez. I thought I'd never see you again. David recognized him. Coach Henderson, his middle school track coach. What are you doing here? I live one town over. Heard about Billy. Came to see the hero. He smiled. Didn't expect it to be you. They talked. Caught up. David, you disappeared from the running world. We all wondered why. I chose my daughter. Coach nodded. Good man. But you know, running and family, they don't have to be separate. What do you mean? There's a local youth running club here. Kids who want to learn distance running. They need a coach. Someone who understands endurance, purpose. Someone like you. David hesitated. I don't know, Coach. I left that world. David, Coach put a hand on his shoulder. You didn't leave running. You just changed how you use it. Tonight proved that. Those kids, they need someone like you. Not Olympic David, but David the mailman who saved a boy. That's the coach they need. David thought about it. Emma overheard. Dad, you should do it. You think. You still run at night. I know you do. Why not run with kids who need a mentor? David started coaching the Ridgemont Youth Running Club. Every evening after his mail route, he'd meet with 15 kids, ages 10 to 16. He didn't push them to be Olympians. He taught them about endurance, perseverance, running for joy, not just winning. Running isn't about being the fastest, David told them. It's about not giving up. It's about finding out what you're capable of. Billy Peterson joined the club. Mr. Martinez, I want to run like you. David smiled. Then let's run, Billy. One day, Emma showed up at practice. Dad, I want to join. David was surprised. Really? You never wanted to run before? Because I thought it took you away. But I was wrong. Running is part of you, and I want to understand it. They ran together, father and daughter, on the trails. David knew by heart. This is nice, Emma said, breathing hard but smiling. Yeah, David agreed. It is. 3 years later, David Martinez still delivered mail in Ridgemont, Oregon. But now, everyone knew his story. Hey, it's Olympic David. Kids would shout when they saw him. David would wave, smile, and keep walking. Because he wasn't Olympic David anymore. He was just David, mailman, coach, father. Emma finished her first half marathon. David ran beside her the whole way. Dad, I get it now. Why you love this. Why? Because when you're running, nothing else matters. Just you and the road. Exactly. Billy Peterson made the high school track team. David coached him. Mr. Martinez, I want to run in the Olympics, like you. David put a hand on Billy's shoulder. Then work hard. But remember, winning isn't everything. Using your gifts to help others, that's what matters. Like you saved me, like I saved you. One evening, David was closing his mail truck when Sarah drove up. His ex-wife. Sarah, everything okay? Yeah, I wanted to talk. They sat on a bench, awkward at first. David, I heard what you've been doing, the running club, coaching, saving Billy, just trying to help. David, Sarah looked at him. I was wrong. About what? When I said you loved running more than us, that wasn't true. You loved running because it was part of you, and I tried to make you choose. That wasn't fair. David was quiet. You weren't wrong, Sarah. I was gone too much. I missed Emma's childhood. But you came back. You retired. You chose her. And David, Sarah smiled. You've been an amazing father. Emma told me. She's so proud of you. She told me the same about you. They sat in comfortable silence. David, do you ever regret it? Retiring? Giving up your career? David thought about it. Sometimes. But then I look at Emma, at Billy, at these kids I coach, and I realize I didn't give up running. I just found a better reason to run. Sarah nodded. That's beautiful, David. Thanks. That night, David went for his usual evening run, alone, through the Cascade trails, under the stars. He wasn't training for anything. No race, no medal. He was just running. Because David Martinez understood something now that he didn't understand at 30. Winning gold made him famous, but saving Billy made him a hero. Coaching kids made him a mentor. Being there for Emma made him a father. And that was worth more than any medal. David ran through the night, the same trails where he'd carried Billy 3 years ago. And he smiled, because he wasn't Olympic David anymore. He wasn't even Mailman David. He was just David, a father, a coach, a friend, who happened to know how to run. And sometimes that was enough to save a life. The end.